Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 31, Our Video Games Art. With me, George, and as always joined by Tom, Vincent Van Gogh, to my no-go. How's it going, Tom?
Very good. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Listeners want to stick around because they know the feature's all about Our Games Art. Coming up in the news, something's skating off into the distance, Tom. Sounds like the hopes and dreams of a gamer or two. Before we get there, though, let me ask you one thing, Tom. What have you been playing?
This week I've been playing... Well, I've not had that much time this week, but I've managed to get in a few games of Call of Duty Online. I believe there's some new maps out today for those, which are free of charge, which is nice to see.
It's very generous.
It is. A ground war map based on like a farmland area, which is like the big 30 versus 30 map.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one called Shoot House, which is like a close quarters map. So both look quite good. I'll be trying those out later in the week. But as for what else I've been playing this week, I managed to finish the Smile Dungeon on Link's Awakening, which is the one I couldn't finish when I was a kid. And gave
Come
up
back
on.
and conquered your demons.
Yes, I feel like I've overcome a childhood travesty with that.
As a 30-something-year-old man with a guide
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah.
Triumphant.
Yes. We didn't have internet back in the day, did we? So
Gaming god.
guess what, Link's Awakening? He just got schooled by a man using initiative rather than skill.
From a guide written by a 15-year-old.
More than likely, yeah. Nothing much. I've delved back into Overwatch a little bit after the excitement of last week's announcement of Overwatch 2. So I've been polishing my skills on that.
Checked online, you're about the only person excited by that.
It appears so, but
Yeah.
I hope some of the listeners are. Probably not. That's about it for me. Yeah. What have you been playing?
Well, ever with my finger on the pulse, white hot pulse of gaming, Tom, I've been playing, I think it's called Innocent Tales, a futuristic Harvest Moon on the PSP.
Oh.
I've been on the go, so
Yeah.
I've been on the
Gaming
go.
on the go.
Gaming on the go. It's all right. It's very tutorial-y for the very first bits of it, so not that exciting. But
Similar to Stardew Valley. That's another sort of Harvest
yeah, I've
Moon
not
game.
played that. I keep looking at that. That's
Yeah.
probably what I should have downloaded and played on the Vita, but I haven't done that.
You've got the cut price version, maybe.
Well,
Some of those are often quite good, aren't they?
I think it probably is the.
It's a bit like when they release those movies and they have, we've discussed this before, where they have people use the imagery and like even the same
font
type and font
Yeah.
to knock out a straight to DVD movie of a same subject.
Is that game the Stingrays boot equivalent of
Yeah.
the gaming world? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. It got its nags into me, and then I just dusted it off. We've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. Anything? Any more Dark Souls this week, or has it mainly been handheld?
Just only handheld.
Okay.
So that, surprisingly, brings us to the foot of the news, Tom. The mountain that we call the news. We scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the first stories. First stories, latest stories. First up, Tom, do you want this or me?
You take this one.
Skating off into the distance. Seemingly, that's the news after EA let the license expire of its fan favourite series, Skate. A listing by the United States Patent and Trademark Office shows that the trademark was reapplied for on February 16th, 2018, when whispers began around E3 2018 of potential Skate 4 reveal. Obviously, these rumours came to naught when nothing was announced at the show. As of August 1st, 2019, EA has abandoned the Skate trademark, icing all Skate 4 speculation, Tom.
I think that's pretty sad, to be honest.
You a big fan of Skate?
Well, I've got quite a few friends who actually skateboard, like some to quite a good level.
You knew a skater once.
Yeah, I knew a skater once. I was a skater once, not a very good one by any means. Yeah, that's.
Do you think you were a skater boy?
Definitely.
Said see you later, boy.
See you later, boy. Yeah, it's a real shame because I think it was a really good game by EA, or published by EA.
As far as Skateboard Simulators Go without using the...
Yeah, because you had to...
Did you have to use a skateboard peripheral for that, or is that another game?
I think we need to ask Daddy Zilla for that, don't we?
Daddy Zilla knows. He's the king of peripherals.
I know he mentioned, I think, Tony Hawk, that he tried that on. But Tony Hawk was always like the arcadey skate game. I enjoyed both, but skate had the...
I think when Tony Hawk's first came out, Tony Hawk's 1 and 2, I don't think it was pretending to be arcade. I think it was trying to be simulation. I always look back at those two and think, no.
Yeah, they got wackier as they went on, didn't they?
Yeah, there was no wire surfing in 1.
But skate was always the game for people who did skate.
Oh, the connoisseurs.
Yeah,
it was the Duran Duran of those skate games, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, sad to see that. Maybe someone else will pick up, or we'll see a spiritual sequel of.
That would be quite cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know there's the I forget what it's called, but there is a skate game meant to be coming out next year that looks quite good. In a similar vein. So,
what's your favourite extreme sports game?
Oh, that's a good question. It's got to be snowboarding, hasn't it? Probably 1080. The one on the GameCube, I prefer.
I had money down on
Amped. Yeah, Amped's up there.
Amp 3, wasn't it? Or Amp 2.
And I really used to. It's like Dave Mirror BMX.
Oh,
it's good. There's a GameCube, good title as well.
There's a bedroom extreme sportsman, if ever there was one.
Yes.
Not the Beatles rock band variety, but.
Next bit of news. Yeah. Out of This World. When Obsidian Entertainment launched its already critically acclaimed RPG The Outer Worlds a month ago, there was no sort of discussion of the Switch version.
No, deathly quiet.
But a press release from the game's publisher, Private Division, revealed the Switch version would be arriving at some point in 2020.
GP, Tom, for you.
I've heard it's going to be before the end of March 2020. So it's going to be before the end of Take-Two's fiscal year. And I think that's probably going to sell quite well on the Switch. Because if I was a Switch owner, I'd know on the console, I'd definitely be waiting for that. It's just, I always think this, it's like, you're just treating it like it's just it has got a longer launch date. So there's loads of other stuff to play. Often I've looked and thought, I've got PS4, I may as well get that on PS4 over the Switch.
Prettier.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to lie, it runs better.
And it's not in slow-mo mode, as you would tell the listeners.
Yeah, the frame rates on the Switch can... If you don't know any better, they're fine. When you run them next to a PS4 or Xbox, you can.
What about more the translation of the controls?
What, for Outer Worlds?
Or for any of these games?
For anything.
Any of the bigger boy games that are on your...
I found Overwatch a little bit of a struggle with the Joy-Cons, especially in handheld, because the thumbsticks are not particularly sizey. So I tend to use the Pro Controller where I can. But the Pro Controller is a really quality controller for me.
How does it rate versus Sony and Microsoft's attempts?
I still can't.
Not Pro Controller. I see the Pro Controller on the Switch going up more against just the stock controllers from the...
Are you on about just the Joy-Cons sliding into the grip and that being...
No, the one that you've got. You've got like an upgraded one that you can get that real gamers use.
Just the Pro Controller is the only one. I'm sure there are like fancy ones out there, maybe. But no,
which is the Pro Controller? Just where you slide the Joy-Cons on either side of it?
No, that's the grip. You get that as standard out of the box.
I'm talking about the other one. How does that compare to the vanilla Xbox and PlayStation versions?
Oh, really well.
Does it?
Yeah, it stands up next to both of them. But yeah.
Okay.
I believe the Xbox Elite 2 controller came out this week as well.
So I've heard.
Yeah. Speaking of...
Xbox, seamless, Tom. If you kept your mouth quiet, we would have got there. EXO a go-go. If you weren't able to wangle a ticket to the Copper Box Arena where EXO 19 is being held this year, we got you covered. There are plenty of streams available online. Xbox is pushing their Mixer stream as the preferred way to tune in, but there will be streams available on Xbox's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Twitch accounts. When is EXO 19, I hear you cry? Well, it's November 14th to 16th. It begins with the 5th anniversary of Xbox Fan Fest, which opens its doors at 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST 11 a.m. PST. Not letting Tom anywhere near the British Sea Times. There's a whole host of games and developers coming to XA19, but Microsoft are being really sneaky about what announcements we can expect to see. There's not even a definitive schedule of who will be on stage and when, but a Twinfinite interview with Xbox Aaron Greenberg at Gamescom revealed there will definitely be some big news coming. We have some surprises planned. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I think that we'll have a great show. We also have a lot of games coming out in the spring. It's, I think, the biggest lineup of games we've ever had in the spring. In that window of time between XA19 and E3, we have a lot of stuff to show, and people can get hands on with it and talk about it.
Wow. So they're going to have some big releases between now and spring. I thought they was going to write it off till Project Scarlet. Maybe
they want to roll that good favour into a new console. They've got some hardcore fan following. They all think there's a lot of people, we've got listeners included, that think they've been making the right moves with Game Pass and doubling down on some good studios. Yeah, the Game Pass is
pretty impressive. That's exciting, I think, especially for sort of long-term Xbox followers. It'd be good to finally see them knock out some good stuff. I think it's still too early for them to show anything next gen, isn't it? I don't think we'll see anything till E3 next year. I think they'll maybe just go out, hopefully, with a bang for the Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Last bit of
news.
news.
That doesn't mean just detonating a load of Xbox Ones on stage while Retro Gamer Thomas bathes in the exploding
all like
pieces.
the guts and all that.
Yeah.
Almost
everywhere.
like the Omaha Beach of consoles, but he's there just sort of nibbling on the equivalent of little bowls of nuts and hors d'oeuvres and things.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty scary thought. Last bit of news, bonus news.
Oh,
bonus news.
I didn't even know about this.
Oh, no.
He likes to keep me in.
I hope this isn't anything nefarious. Hopefully this is happy birthday. It's a little bit early. Tear it open. Let the fans know what they see inside. I'm nervous.
I'm very excited.
Calm down.
Oh, mate.
What we got?
That is awesome.
Describe to the fans what we're witnessing here.
I am currently draping over myself the Ray family T-shirt.
That's
as
awesome.
supplied by Adam the artist.
That's correct.
And can you read out his details?
Oh, on Etsy /comic pictures.
Shall I put this on?
No
space.
I
don't want to knock me mic.
Put it on. Come on.
I'm doing it.
Let's see it. He's pulling off the onesie.
You do realise I'm going to wear this everywhere.
And there he is. The immortal. That's the best one. So that's the Ray family, Trace Ray, Stingray, and the young.
Model doing the Hulk Hogan poses.
Yeah. Tom's had his way, so the villagers
Mate,
have been kept to a... he likes it now. He likes it now.
The quality on their faces is awesome.
I'm a little bit gel. But there's many of the villagers and many unofficial controller podcast artwork to get yourselves a T-shirt on. What we're going to do?
Why don't you just take a little picture?
Oh, I see.
And do a little live, not of my face, of course.
Get stood up so we can really put the effort into this.
Just photo the shirt.
No, we're going to get the whole thing in. We're going to get your... back here.
Not my face. Not my face.
Oh. Yeah, well, you made the... we will just get the picture. Yeah. Isn't he happy, look? Okay. Are you happy with that?
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Now, tell me, if the listeners... Oh, and the first listener to appear in Stingray's boot in a piece of unofficial controller podcast artwork had to wait. Just calm myself down, line up my words. They're going to get my special, personal community chest. Isn't that right?
That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent work.
So double down, get one ordered, get a picture, slap it in the boot. Everyone's happy.
The good thing as well is you might be wearing it and someone goes, what's your T-shirt about? And you tell them the story. And you can go, well, this is the Ray family. They feature and live in Farmerton, a very real village.
Very real. A very real podcast.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, that fine piece of artwork there,
Yes.
done by Adam the artist, could you ever consider video games as art?
I believe you could, but we're going to ask that question.
Then ask away. It's the feature.
Can video games be art? Welcome to this week's feature, where we're asking the question, can video games be classed as artwork? For this, we are going to be venturing out of the bunker, down into Farmerton Village, and paying a visit to the Village Art Gallery. Once a home of such fine artworks as PCSO Ross Kemp's dabble into Impressionism, and Red Dragon Reyes' commissioned origami sculpture of Lord Ponsonby, the gallery now has a new owner. We welcome the legend of children's television programme Art Attack, the one and only Neil Buchanan. We asked Neil if we could hire the gallery for a special look at some video games that really stand out for their artistic style and influence. Do you want to take our first piece as we stroll around the gallery?
Well, just one thing I've got to say. Once again, where's the budget come from Neil? I turn around and go hiring celebrities.
We're not hiring him. He's bought the gallery, so he's in terms of how would you say?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm looking for the words.
He's spellbound. You see, that's the sort of celebrity he is. He takes the words clean
I've got
out
my
your mouth.
T-shirt, mate, and all I'm thinking about is putting the T-shirt on, playing Death Stranding, and having the best time of my life. Right, the theme tune. Sing the theme tune.
Dressed up with a sprinkler on your head.
Yeah, he has acquired the gallery, so he's quite well off.
Okay.
He's building his empire of art galleries.
Well, strolling through this converted village hall, I notice that the first piece up here, nice frame you've got going on, is an Xbox Live arcade classic and the very clever puzzle platformer Braid. It's a fine piece of work you got there, Tom.
It is.
Looks like his influences, watercolours, a little bit of oils, landscape painting styles, a little sniff Super Mario World 2, and just look in the eyes there. There's little gentle, subtle overtones of. Sound like retro gamer Thomas.
Are we tasting wine or looking at paintings?
I don't know. You got to go with it.
I'm going with it. I'm going with it.
A little bit of Yoshi's.
We've got a few bottles of red wine, haven't
we have. Tell me, what do you make of that? There's my overview of the scents and smells of what I find from Braid. Give me the facts and figures of this artist's life.
So, Braid came about. Designer Jonathan Blow tasked the lead artist David Hellman with drawing over rough images of the levels. The team had created these levels to use a distinct art style, and this helped convey the main themes of time and different realities. They used blurred but beautiful watercoloured style backgrounds, but they also kept the images and objects near to the character clear, so it helped define how you were going to solve the puzzles on that certain level, which I think was a really strong point, because you had these brilliant, awesome looking visuals in the background, but where the brain work had to go in, it was very clear and decisive what you had to do. Well, not so much what you had to do, where the things were that you could move.
Yeah.
Very often we play games today where the art style, it's so grounded in realism that it's not actually that clear where you're meant to go, especially if the game doesn't hold your hand. I think that's probably why there is so much hand holding sometimes, because it's like, move over there and collect this object. It's like, well, which object? Because it all looks surreal, or like gone with the realistic graphics.
Yeah.
It's very hard to tell the difference. So I think that's something that really helped make that game successful. At the time of the game's release, gamers and critics were amazed by the wonderful rewind time mechanic and complex puzzles. But we think the game stands up to the test of time and will do in the future, really down to its art style. Did you pick that up when it came out on Xbox Live Arcade?
Yes, guilty as charged. I was.
It was part of one of those deals, wasn't it? Where
I think I was a day one adopter of Braid.
Yeah.
I like the backgrounds. I don't like the main characters, but this is art, so it's not really my place to say. But overall, the game probably didn't play to my nuances as a gamer.
Yeah. I did like the ending, and obviously the big reveal. Spoilers, just you should have played it by now. He is the enemy. Because of the rewind mechanic. Towards the end, I'm trying to go off memory here. It's actually you who have been chasing the princess, so it's like the Super Mario thing spun on its head. So when you rewind, you realise he is the one chasing her, and the person that's taken her away is trying to help her escape, which I think is real cool.
I wish I'd finished it now. Shame. Right. Is it time for me to walk through Farmington naked, whipping myself with twigs? It is, isn't it?
Well, I think we should stroll down the room a little further.
Yes.
But before we do that, shall we hear from the Chronicles of a Gamer?
Yeah, well, Neil Buchanan's a big enough celebrity, Tom, to have beckoned down from every corner of the village.
Some of the critiques.
All the well-known critiques. And sucking on a creme de la creme cigar here is the Chronicles of Gamer. What's he got to say for himself?
They say games are absolutely art in every way, shape and form. Visually and musically, it's a beautiful art form. It can move us in many ways, especially when it has a story behind it.
Very good point.
Yeah.
And swarving through the room, owning everyone around, it's the beret-wearing beatnik. It's Finster Gamer with his outlandish views on art. What's he telling us today, Tom?
He goes on to say, I think here on Instagram you'll find the perfect evidence for games being art. There are countless pages, including my own. Cheap Mick Foley pop there.
Yeah.
We like that, don't worry, we do it.
Check out Finster Gamer's page. It's downright circle square, all that malarkey. Get in there, get on his page, get on his website.
Dedicated to photography and video creation within game worlds. Photo modes. How great are they now?
Totally forgot that in your feature. We'll touch on that.
We will. Hopefully you've salvaged something. Games, especially today, allow you to do whatever you want to be. If you're an aggressive person, you can be aggressive in the game. If you're an artist, you can express that using the game's world as your inspiration. On a side note, the music, visuals and set in the BioShock series in particular hits me emotionally in the same way I imagine a deep classical piece of art would to an art connoisseur. Great little comment there. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're going to stroll down a little further because this next piece we're going to look at caused some controversy in its art style when it was first announced.
You've missed. We've got a whole load of critiques to get through. Yeah.
Shall we do this piece that we've got to, and then just go back to some more listener comments? I think we could do that.
Controversial, is it? Much like the art we're looking at here. Very controversial.
Very controversial. Yes. At the time, but has gone on to be a roaring success.
Yes. Well,
this game is The Legend of Zelda, the
Wind
Waker.
Up on the wall, like a piece of rare graffiti art. The influences for this one, Tom, I can see classic animation.
Yeah.
I can see these vivid, bold colours just oozing through the tapestry towards me. And I'm even getting subtle whiffs of the mighty Walt Disney himself.
He does run a art critique podcast, by the way, every week with Rupert Goldenthread. Oh no, that's the cross-stitch one, isn't it?
Yeah, he does that as well.
He does that as well.
Yeah,
he's a man of culture.
He's got an eye for cross-stitch. He's also got an eye for Renaissance art.
He has. Anyway, we better not ramble because we do that a lot. But The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. There hadn't been a new release since Majora's Mask on the N64. And with fans still hyped from a GameCube tech demo at Space World 2000, which featured a much more realistic looking Link battling Ganondorf, excitement was at a fever pitch. Step forward Legend of Zelda veteran developer Eiji Aonuma.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, let's say we've probably desecrated that name.
Totally, you probably called him sort of Dog Rider.
An absolute hero of mine, and I've just called him
Dog
what
Rider.
I can. Who called the tech demo old and
What's happened here?
I've minced my words on a...
Oh, yeah, I get hung out to dry. It's time that you... Normally we edit all this out and your agent comes down and he listens to it and he's like, no, I want that scrub in. I want that re-recorded. CGI is
derivative of previous Zelda games. I got it in the end.
Why don't you rewind and go again from veteran developer?
I don't want to read his name out badly again. Enuma, who called the tech demo
Perfect.
owed on derivative.
You said it right. It's not even there.
Oh, mate.
You know
Anyway, he
what?
basically said it was too much like the old ones.
There's an alternate universe where he read out that listener comment and then you nailed it in one go.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he set the team to task with taking the series in a new direction. The man who made the first steps with Link's bold new look was designer Yoshiki Haruhana, who drew...
Shall I lead on? Who drew a rough sketch of what we now know as Toon Link. The team then used cell shading on 3D models, giving the look of a fully immersive animated world. Developers built the game using Alias/Wavefront Maya 3D tool. What have you been feeding James? 8 tins of alphabetic spaghetti and a couple of tins of blooming coffee from down the bottom of the cellar. 3D tool and a brand new game engine. While cell shading had been done before in Sega's excellent Jet Set Radio, Wind Waker really took it to the next level, releasing in the spring of 2002, and a few years ago we got an HD re-release which looks even better.
It does.
George and Tom to discuss. Controversial game when it first came out.
It was, yeah.
It's been whitewashed, hasn't it? It's been toon washed.
I remember myself, I was very early hater of the game. After seeing the tech demo, wanting my Ocarina of Time looking.
I want to see skin, paws, and blood.
Yeah, wanting the big boys growing up Zelda, and then the
give me Aragorn. Give me Legolas.
Similar timing to those films, yeah. So when they showed that Wind Waker demo, obviously it didn't even look as good as it did when it came out. So I don't think the reaction was overly positive. But I was still there day one, picked it up, drove over to your house after probably leaving college a little earlier than I should have done. We put it in, brought the GameCube with its snazzy handle.
Did you carry it in with the handle, or do you think you had it in a discreet little bag?
Probably in a shopping bag or something.
Yeah, dirty. All the wires wrapped round like a snake's wedding in the bottom of a bag.
He has always poo-pooed me for the way I keep some of my consoles. And yeah, rightly so, because I'm an urchin.
Dirty urchin.
Yeah. So we fired it up, didn't we? And you were impressed.
You made that sound like a miracle.
Yeah, it was a miracle the GameCube was working after getting carted over in a shopping bag.
Thrown in the footwell of a dirty Peugeot.
Yeah. So yeah, it just wowed us, didn't it? It was like watching or interacting with a cartoon, playing the cartoon.
I suppose I always beat down on things a little bit, but looking back, there was that wow moment.
Yeah. Just the way his eyes, the animation of his face, his reactions to things, and then the enemies, and obviously getting out to sea was brilliant. The first time you go out into the Great Sea in your little red boat, and I think it is up there with the best ones.
Oh.
The HD remasters ironed out a few problems. There was a lot of sort of fetch quests with the parts of the Triforce, from what I remember in the original, so they changed that a little bit. It just flows a little bit nicer. So if you own a Wii U, which maybe some of you collector listeners do, definitely pick up the HD
Road to
re-release.
Thin got one.
Yeah?
We know this, don't we? We've seen it. Bet Oscat's got one. He's got this game like 8 times over, hasn't he? How many times
I'm sure we'll maybe see a re-release on the Switch as well.
Got to.
Yeah.
Got to.
I feel like they should just do a big collection. Just an anthology or something like that.
In a chest.
Oh, mate.
It makes a noise when you open it.
Oh, the dream.
And at the back, he's tucked like a scale shot.
You know what I'd really like to see is like them all have the same... As we're on the subject of art, have the same box art. That's something we should have discussed.
And the spines.
Yeah, the spines all looking like old books and like little gold writing down them, and all the way from... They could do it. It'd be so good. Write
that down.
I will. Let's get him on the phone. After we've desecrated his name, we'll sell him a great idea.
He'd be down for that.
He would. He would. He's a good bloke.
I just checked Google Translate. You actually called him cabbage smeller.
Oh, really?
Japanese for cabbage smeller. Very similar to his
that's
neighbour.
too bad.
Completely desecrated.
Well, we better just walk back to where we were because there was some more critiques overlooking a piece by Road to Thinner Me. They'd done a bit of a finger paint drawing on the wall.
Oh, right.
But yeah, we'll chime in. Who we got next?
King Lizard.
Yeah,
He's waltzed in. He's scratching his little
is this a new
beak.
listener
He's been on before, but he's
or first commenter, should I say?
no. King Lizard's been on before.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got some serious chops. He knows what he's talking about. I'll read his comment out. Very much so. Clap clap emoji. Games are interactive and no less engaging than movies. Like movies, there are good and bad examples. In a lot of cases, even a game's art style choice can dictate success or failure. If gamers don't like the look of the graphics, they won't buy it. But if a game captures an audience by its aesthetic, they are halfway to success, as a game that looks good is always going to sell. Well, at least until the reviewers trash it. Titanfall 2, Anthem, etc. Crying emoji. When I think art in games, the first two titles from the same stable are Ico, Shadow of the Colossus. Both games are majorly art focused, but also as much about engaging gameplay and story. Naturally, Borderlands also stands out from the crowd, and its comic book art style is a leading example as well, but again backed up by interesting characters and stories, customization, art and fashion, good humour, and great game mechanics. GTA games are driven by the art of an era in the game worlds Rockstar create. GTA even make fun of the art of an era which I love. Art and games are one for sure. In my book, but in our world, the art is alive. How cool is that? Solid point by King Lizard. He ends, clapping emoji heart eyes. Applauding himself, but in a reverential way,
yeah.
you and I. But at the same time, because it's art, Tom, descends to an even deeper level. He applauds the games.
A man for the games. A man for our time. King Lizard.
King Lizard.
Next up, we've got Harvey Retro.
Yes.
Hello, another great show topic. My submission. I definitely think games can be art nowadays. A few that spring to mind are games that are as cinematic as great movie-like titles. The Last of Us, Heavy Rain, Bioshock, and others I'd class as artful and breathtaking pieces like Journey, and those beautiful indie platformers like Limbo, Inside, and Unravel. Oh man, the feels, crying emoji. If a game hits those emotional notes and leaves you thinking about it afterwards, I consider it art. You're on fire at the moment, fellas. Strong topics. Thank you very much.
Harvey Retro.
Yeah.
Tom, wait. The crows. The sun is in the sky. This is art. You're looking panicked. This is not even in the script. This is interpretive impromptu. Bonus game. Oh yeah. We needed to split it up. I'm segueing you into the hall. I'm showing you my dark canvas. L.A. Noir, Tom.
Oh.
L.A. Noir. My submission for art as a game.
You always worry me when you go off topic, but you usually provide the goods, whereas mine, I usually provide the car crash.
Not only does this fine, look at it there, and it's Cole Phelps on the front, the logo dripping. It stinks of noir cinema. The very essence, the very essence of the music. A soundtrack I've downloaded because in its own...
Have you?
Even in its own...
Yeah.
This soundtrack is beautiful. I love the sound of it. I love the muted graphical tones. I love the 50s setting or 40s setting. I love everything about it. I love how it's a beautiful ode to World War II heroes that have come back, who maybe aren't so as heroic as we're led to believe. It's a story of a man. It's a splash of colours, but then at the same time, it's black and white. This game, it's a thing of beauty. And if you don't understand it, you're not a cultured gamer.
Would you class it as your favourite Rockstar game?
Ooh. Yes. I actually think I would.
Okay.
And I think that in that they had many different films and stylistic offerings to choose from because the genre's quite broad. It's had many different influences. So they're able to paint a very broad brush with LA Noir. But I think you can see the same ideas in a previous tie-in or film-based game, the Warriors. That's a thing of beauty as well.
Yeah, I mean,
It gets the mechanics are very PS2 era, but the title screen's evocative. The way they've done the work on the designs of the clothes and the settings and bits and bobs. It's a very nice game.
yeah. I think there's a point there as well for games that have used movie licenses, which we have done a show about, but have done it well and captured the look and the feel and even the music of those films that make you almost feel like you are playing in the movie.
That game adds to that film. It doesn't take away.
Yeah.
Your
Absolutely.
favourite tie-in, Batman Begins? Owned it on the Xbox original?
Apparently. Let's move on. Daddyzilla up next. This is a great topic. Who are we to say what's art and what's not? A game is a piece of someone that has poured their time into it. The definition of art is different from one person to the next. Typically, art is a person's view or impression of what they are seeing, feeling, and creating. In my opinion, that's in his opinion, though all games are a form of art, from Atari and old text-based DOS games some of us old-timers used to play, to the most recent PC and console games. Some of my favourite, most beautiful games are, of course, the Final Fantasy series, American McGee's Alice, Skyrim, the Batman Arkham series, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, just to name a few. Remember, what I think is art is not exactly what you might think, and all people's thoughts should be respected.
Always respect the muscle of the show, Tom.
A very deep comment from the muscle of the show.
Very, very deep, but I like
Thanks,
it.
Daddyzilla. Good comment.
Taking art, the sort of comment that only art can have. Art's not exactly what you might think. All people's thoughts should be respected. One man's cow poo on a plate is another man's Picasso.
Exactly. Artwork in, paintings and such, no different to video games. Some people like them, some people don't. We all see different things in them. So yeah, nice comment, Daddyzilla. Who you got next there?
Yes, well, art student Abuse Game Room. He's formed an opinion of what he's seen in the village hall today. Of course, all games are a form of art. Journey stands out to me. An interactive short story with no dialogue, just roaming around, gathering scarves and seeing others that are playing too, but no way to talk to them. That's a game that's often hailed as art, Tom, isn't it?
It certainly is. Next up, we've got CJ Nintendo.
New listener.
Hey, still picking them up. Collecting them like Pokemon cards.
Death of a Thousand Cuts, Tom.
Absolutely. CG Nintendo. Yes, games are definitely a form of art. The imagination of the creators and designers are being implemented into a form that its players can admire. That's what art is to us anyway, something to admire that someone has created. Breath of the Wild is our personal favourite form of video game art due to the amount of times we were breathtaken by the graphics and views of the world. Any true gamer would see video games as art, we think.
That's great,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Nice comment. Thank
Breath
you
of the
very
Wild, so they obviously know which buttons are yours to twist.
much. They certainly do. Massive fan of
Question for you.
that. Yes.
New listener, CJ Nintendo, got in touch, got on the feature of the show. How would an average Joe out there listening to this podcast are thinking, what's all this talk of contributing, Tom? What's all this talk? How would they get on the show?
So, some of you direct messages on Instagram or Twitter,
Which we love.
and some of you comment on the Instagram page, which we love, and some of you email on questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com.
That's amazing. Now,
What's your favourite way of fans getting in touch? Do you like to slide in the DMs or?
sometimes I slide in the DMs. Why not? I'd love more emails, but comments on the post is where we ask it to go when we slap them up there. So
A lot of the emails we get are just rough copies of the script, aren't they?
they are.
Let's be honest. But
Tom, PCSO Ross Kemp has been doing what he can to get Retro Gamer Thomas back into society. So he's stumbled in with a couple of various different tins of emulsion, and he's going to throw them down on a white canvas while Ross Kemp watches, and he's going to slide around in that mix of wet paint as a medium of expressing himself in a way other than chewing down on people's electrical goods.
Ah.
But before he does, he says...
I just have the image in my head. It was very audio descriptive for the listeners there.
And because Retro Gamer Thomas is a man on many levels, if you were to zoom out from what looks like a mess with his body writhing in it, much like midway through an Art Attack show, if you were up in the higher lofty area of the village hall, you would see that he'd have drawn a Mega Drive.
Wow.
With his gizzards cut right open. He hasn't learned. Definitely a form of art, I think. The amount of time it takes these days to produce these games and the talented people they have doing backgrounds and characters, etc., is incredible. Back in the specky C64 days, it was the technical kids that made games at the start, as they knew how to code, and the games were basic but fun. Then as more artistic people started coding, you could really see the games improving fast. Now, how far they've come to today, and the games are incredibly beautiful. I've got screenshots saved on my PS4 that would look awesome hanging on my wall. Whether the old school want to admit it or not, games? This is from our very own serial killer. He says, games are definitely art.
Definitive, as always.
End of story. Just
I think,
give him some space, because PCSO Kemp needs to cuff him up now.
Okay.
He needs a shower. He's got...
Neil, get back.
He's got pre-war...
You are the curator, but you are not his controller. Just back off.
That's art now, Neil. You can't touch that. Don't clean it up. It's expressionism.
Don't give me any of the... This is Art Attack. And this is Retro Gamer Thomas.
Don't delay any more, Tom, because PCSO Kemp's realised this was pre-war lead paint. And he's got 30 seconds to make sure he gets this scrubbed from Retro Gamer Thomas's skin.
He better get on it.
Exactly.
I like the comment about, just quickly there, the photos, and Finster Gamer touched on this. I've got a lot of photos on my PS4, especially Red Dead, like the painted skies of the West, and just, like, I think there's one where John's, like, leaning on a fence overlooking, and it's just awesome.
How do you manage hard drive space? Because you've got, like, Red Dead installed, and then you've filled your hard drive with pictures of Arthur doing various things.
Yeah, I've got quite a few from Days Gone as well. It's got a good photo mode.
Yeah, it's got the best photo mode.
And I believe Death Stranding's going to have one, or has one.
Oh, I should imagine so.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. Right, Ozcat TV next. Video games are absolutely an art form, one where the player gets to experience their own story and play that any other person may not. There are plenty of art pieces which have the same effect. A game has all the art forms of freeform, painting, photography, storytelling, and interactivity, except all in one bundle. Who we got next?
Making his way known from the back of the room, he comes forward. He's got an eye for art. It's Boba Loba. Yes, everything about video games is art. Level design, audio, storylines. In some cases, they're basically interactive films. Or in the case of Telltale Games, interactive TV series. Thinking emoji. And it's fair to say people can create art from them too, whether it's built in photo mode or creating montages. There are even YouTube series created using games like Minecraft, Stampy Longnose, must be a YouTuber, and even Halo, Red vs. Blue, which I'm sure we've all heard of.
Yeah.
Again, you know, Machinima taking the games, turning the games back into films, churning something out the back end of it. Creation from creativity. Pass me another red wine.
Next up, Tech Mike Reviews. Games have the visuals, music and stories to be considered masterpieces. Think of how people say movies with a touching story and music are beautiful art pieces and are instantly classics. Games should be considered the same way. Games are interactive, movies where you control the story, and personally listen to game soundtracks all the time. They're beautiful pieces of art. I'm also a fan of game soundtracks. Even to the point where my wife will put the like lullaby things on for the baby, and I'm like, no, stand back. Nintendo playlist. And he's having a very happy time. But music in video games is something for another day to talk about.
That poor child.
You'd have him listening to Uncharted theme tune. As good as that is, it's not suitable. But just yet. Just yet. One day.
Why are you playing it?
Just a Nintendo playlist. Sort of, there's a lot of...
Banner.
No.
Banner.
We're talking about Nintendo era that you've probably not played much of.
Banner. What else?
Gusty Garden Galaxy, Mario Galaxy.
Is that as good as Banner?
Better.
I always, when I go to sing that now, I always do it in the Sims voice. Bottom.
I've never played The Sims.
Bottom.
Never played
Sims. You've played Sims Revolution. That's kind of their voice, similar. Bottom.
Oh, is it?
Bottom.
Well,
that's blown you, hasn't it?
it has. Yeah. Our last piece.
Oh, this is exquisite, Tom. Look at it.
Our last piece is Japanese for Great Spirit, the wonderful Okame.
Tom, look at this. Can you see there? Traditional Japanese watercolours. Look at that, Tom. Look at that. Japanese mythology and ukiyo-e style. Don't tell me I'm not, Tom, connoisseur of the highest level.
Absolutely. You are a extended cigarette holder, red wine, beret wearing, blue and white striped t-shirt, cords, brown loafers.
That's what I'm feeling.
In Okame.
Look at this, though. Even though that's how you've described me in my eyes, because I've looked at this wonderful image of Okame, I see myself. I'm there. Blossoms, wind across my face.
He has transported himself
I'm wild. Dojos and
the
temples.
Japan hills.
Paragondas or whatever they're called. They're everywhere. Little bridges. Beautiful.
You sure you're not just thinking about that time where you took a one of those Japanese crockery sets to the head in a low budget wrestling match?
Is that not the same as? Is that not the equivalent of playing a Kami?
Yeah, we could say that, couldn't we? It's like
get a load of Japanese nostalgia just smashed in your face.
In Okame, players assume the role of the goddess of the sun, Amaterasu.
You basically called their most fastidious of goddesses. You called that a tiramisu.
A tiramisu. Taking the form of a white wolf.
Baking the form of a white wolf.
Yeah, baking the form.
Let's see what you're doing
taking the form of a white wolf to restore the lands of Japan to its former natural glory. Okame was originally released for the PS2 in April 2006 and really pushed the machine nearing its last years. The development team at Clover Studio had hoped to use a more realistic rendering engine, which you can see footage of if you search for it on YouTube, which is quite interesting.
Well, I'm going to go check that out.
But this really made the aging PS2 processor struggle, so a cel-shaded style was adopted. This in turn led to one of the game's core gameplay mechanics, the Celestial Brush, a combat mechanic using swipes of the brush on screen to perform attacks.
That's what Mumsy uses when our bedrooms get dirty.
The Celestial Brush. It's nice to see.
Takes everything to the car boot and charity in one broom sweep.
Wicked. It's nice to see, and still happens to this day, how art styles can inspire new gameplay concepts and help immerse players even more. If you're a fan of Japanese mythology and art, then you will love this, and the best way to play it today is with a HD copy on Xbox One, PS4, PC and Switch. Yeah. Did you play that on PS2? That's where I first picked it. I think I picked it up when it first came out. It definitely came towards the end of the console's lifespan. So I
think I've got it somewhere. I've never actually played it.
It's seen a lot of re-releases. I think one of the best re-releases was on the Wii because you had the motion control with the brush and it just felt quite at home on there. I'd be curious to see what it looks like in HD. I've not really seen it since. Plays very similar to a Zelda game in its gameplay loop. I think they were
sort of
some
like
inspiration.
Go-to area, get special upgrade for Celestial Brush.
There's open world. There's a hub world, and it's been a long time since I played it, but definitely check it out if you're into
One of
any
them's
of
the
those
grabber, one of them's is it that?
A little bit that, but
Okay.
it's got its own
Slingshot.
things. I mean,
Bow and
it's
arrow.
classed as one of the best PS2 games of all time.
It's a dirty list of shame I ain't played it.
Oh,
I might brush it off this.
mate.
I'm trying to play Death Stranding, but I'll brush it off and I'll play that then.
Yeah,
Okay, will do.
definitely one to take a look at.
Well, talking of ones to take a look at, Tom, looks like we've picked a fine character to take us to the bridge. Who is it?
It's Mr. Comic Pictures himself. Of course they are. They always have been, but more so in our current time. Developers are able to show us more and more of their imaginations and ours, brought to life in often stunning detail. When you add in storytelling and mystique, it's possible to create something that's generational masterpiece that transcends what games are perceived to be. He lists Ico, Abzu, Journey, Ori and the Blind Forest, Limbo, Hellblade, This War of Mine, Old Man's Journey, Portal, Unravel, Pong, Pac-Man, SimCity, Wolfenstein, Minecraft, Telltale Games, Tomb Raider, EverQuest, The Sims, Fallout, Arkham, Half-Life, GTA 3, Final Fantasy 7, Resident Evil, Skyrim, Hypersports, Hang On, Afterburner, Last of Us, Ocarina of Time. I mean, I'm just scratching the surface here, but you get my point. Wow, a very long list there of some truly...
Games
very-
are art.
They are.
I can agree with all of that. Some of that, not all of that. Some of it, I don't know at this point. I'm just saying it for the hell of it. Most of those games I can get on board with. Some probably I haven't.
He's
played.
listed some
Haven't
nice,
played Hellblade.
listed some nice indies there. I've never played Journey. I've played Limbo, Ori, Unravel, all really cool art styles.
Minecraft.
So, yeah.
That's a solid shout.
Yeah,
Quite
you're
creative
right,
in that,
because if
can't
you
you?
look at the creativity that people have now, it's a bit like saying, like, look at what that person's imagination has created with Lego, look at what they've done on Minecraft. I mean, you see some fantastic things where they've built, like, I don't know, a football stadium to the minutest detail. We better have a final word, though. As Mr. Buchanan hurries us out of the gallery to start prepping for tomorrow's unveiling of Retro Gamer Thomas's seminal works, Creation of a Console Killer, we hurry to the door and leave you with this to think on. While video games are not officially classed as art, think how many artists, authors and musicians they've inspired. Oh, George, as regards to next week's feature though, I'm looking for sailors. Little tease there for what's to come next week.
I was expecting a different tease, but you slapped me up with the Sailors one. Mysterious. That's the end of the feature.
All will be revealed next week.
Okay, well, fired up for that. Tom, what's next?
Listeners Stingray.
Listeners, Stingray.
When the big man makes a house call, you better be ready.
These guys got in touch to show us their pick up some Stingrays boot. You can too. Just hashtag Stingrays boot on Instagram or Twitter, or email us questions on officialcontrollerpodcast.com. Who's first up in the ode boot Della boot, Tom? What's going on down here?
It is, wow, My Gaming Space. They've picked up their copy of Death Stranding. Very exciting.
Where did you get that slipcase from? I didn't get that.
I'm not sure if that's Amazon. I know one of the
Yeah,
retailers I think was doing
wasn't it? Yeah.
Sega Junkie next with Megajet.
Megajet.
What is that? I've never heard
If
of
memory serves, it's like I might be wrong, but I thought it was something to do with like airlines or something. You'd get it to play games on while you're on a
that.
plane.
Oh, wow.
I might be wrong.
That looks it looks like a car radio on the box, but I'm sure it's definitely not.
Oh, it definitely Mega Drive. Daddyzilla, 526 degrees on his cooker, Tom, according to you.
I think that's the only way to rid the world of American Idol on the Xbox 360.
Wow. He's also
Melt
got
it.
Britney's Dance Game,
SOCOM US Navy SEALs,
Yeah.
that's quite good.
Tom and Jerry War of the Whiskers. Scroll across, though, Inspector Gadget with Matthew Broderick. Classic
very
film.
good. Yeah. Straight out of Stingray's boot.
Ozcat got some socks, Magikarp socks, and a
Yeah,
cat.
no gaming pickups for him, but he's got some funky Magikarp socks.
Tom, Eslo Midna been down the shop supporting the Switch like you can't be bothered to. Bought themselves a copy of Super Monkey Ball. Good work, Eslo Midna.
I think Sonic's an unlockable
Hope
character.
you're keeping well.
well.
Hope you're keeping well, Eslo Midna.
Welsh Game Hunter, lovely sort of shot of a Mega Drive joystick there with various titles in the background, including Aladdin.
Great stick that for NBA Jam.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mikhail Rep. Picture of the 6-axis. Ash's Game Room. Curse of the Moon. And Momodora. Sega Junkie again. Tom's rules say I'm not allowed to read it out, but he's got what looks like a complete Mega CD 32X bundle. He's even made a little box to contain his collection, Tom. That looks real.
It does, yeah.
He's made that. He's a very clever boy. Yeah.
Good effort.
Mikhail Rep, he's been in again, so you've blocked him. He's tugging at the heartstrings, Tom. He's even put a picture of his child in here. So
but we're going to skip it because that doesn't matter. Sorry, sounds harsh.
Oh, but I want to read out the fact that he's playing the Switch on a train.
No, we won't read that. Wow, he is gone in, and as well as
Sega Junkie plugging in my heartstrings. Got a baseball game. Gets a like from me. Cheap pop. Kingdom Hearts. Mikhail Rep gets a cheap pop. I'm liking it.
Rad Bash Gaming picking up Yakuza 2. Jump Force. I'm trying to slow George down there with his cheap pops. Ozcat TV. He's been on. Game Boy Matty.
Well, you can't do that to it. That was like an interesting game. Game Boy Matty putting us all to shame. 2-year-old going into town, coming back with Shenmue 2, Tee-Off, Sega Rally, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Ready to Rumble boxing, WWF Attitude on the Dreamcast, as well as a minty fresh looking keyboard. Now, unless, Tom, I'm a complete Neanderthal and I only see pictures and pictures can't lie, that Dreamcast keyboard left Sega of Japan all those years ago with Game Boy Matty's name on it. Personalised.
Yeah.
How did they know he was even going to be born?
I don't know. They just foreseen the gamer in him.
The voodoo of Sega.
There you go.
Oh,
he's also picked up Warriors for the PS2.
And he's picked up GoldenEye and Mission Impossible, 2 stealth spy games. Game Boy Matty's operating behind enemy lines.
Next up, we've got Pez 3.5.
No, Rad Bash Gaming's made the effort to put in some VHSs.
Oh, okay.
And seeing as you won't pull them out of real Stingrays boot anymore, we beg, we plead.
VHSs that feature Ronald McDonald?
Yeah.
Tell me, when does our advertisement end for McDonald's this week?
Is this now the time to unleash your rather dark sexual undertones where you can only reach a certain point in Nirvana when a picture of Ronald McDonald is uncovered from beneath a silk handkerchief on the bedside table?
We won't go there.
Probably best we don't.
Pez 3.5 picked himself up a Elite Series 2 controller.
I don't know what's darker, the fact that you must always have this picture covered with a scarf and it's left unsaid, or whether it's there at all.
Your mind works in some very strange ways. It really does. He's picked up an Elite Series 2 controller. That looks very nice. Very envious of that.
I tell you what, that box art and the way he's presented it, it makes it feel like it's some sort of tactical weapon.
It is.
The way it's branded, Elite Series. We're playing footsie as well underneath the podcast.
I know, I've just realised. It's making me feel very uncomfortable.
Well, that's nice and warm. I'll snuggle into that. Oh, it's my co-host's feet.
Yeah. He's had a shout
out. That looks
out.
good. That D-pad looks kind of interesting on that.
So it's changeable. You can have the traditional cross D-pad.
Oh, I've got this image of Pez with like a nightscape lifted up, and he's got like a box, and he's taking it out and he's screwing in the different bits to it.
Mate, have you ever seen Kick-Ass where Nicolas Cage is like tied up on the chair? He's like, "Child, switch to night vision." Awesome. I love that film. I love Nicolas Cage. Just so over the top. And he's like part on fire as well while he's shouting this out as Big Daddy, and he's just like, "Switch to night vision."
How do we get here? I've just woken up in the middle of the show. Like, what the hell's happened?
The Xbox Elite Series 2 controller looking like a very tactical military controller. It is awesome. Like the way, honestly,
what game
mate,
will PES 3.5 play with this controller?
I believe he's going to be using it on PC. So, yeah, interesting. Well, the thing is...
What does he play on there? A Wolfenstein?
He's a big Destiny fan.
On the 486 gaming PC?
He is, yeah. Destiny 2, I suppose, yeah.
Crikey, he's got to crank that up, hasn't he?
Yeah. He also owns a Switch, but I don't think the Elite controller will work on that.
PES 3.5 power player.
He is.
Power player.
By the way, with those controllers, they have a real like nice feel and sound when... Because the detachable joysticks and stuff and paddles. Oh, mate, it's just... You would love it. It'd be right up your street. It's just like, yeah, just got a great feel to it. Sort of magnetised.
What's the real Liquid Chalk doing? Oh, they're playing a bit of Modern Warfare, Tom.
Yeah, that. Oh, are you seeing what he's got? You seen what bundle he went for?
Talking of night vision.
He has splashed
Going
the
dark.
cash and got himself the night vision goggles.
To be fair,
Nice pickup.
looking at his game room, it's quite dark. Do you think
Maybe.
that's why he's got the night vision? Top tip.
Do you reckon he goes full immersion, full emulsion on Modern Warfare on the mission I talked about, where you go into the London townhouse? You put the night vision on in the game. You do it in real life. Scarred your eyes for life.
Question: what's cheaper, limited edition Call of Duty Modern Warfare Elite Edition with night vision, or a bulb?
Depends what sort of bulb you're going for. Some of those retro style bulbs are quite expensive. Sega Junkie up next with some Saturn games. Very nice.
Love the way you changed the rules to suit yourself. He's been in, but nice collection. Harvey Retro. He's
game
flicked
is
the
that?
hair. He's gripping hard.
Speedball.
Speedball 2, Brutal Deluxe.
Nice pick.
Your story of Brutal Deluxe rise through the Speedball Championships.
I'm going to skip over a few of those because they've already had a shout out.
Oh, Radbash.
Retrovision.
Let's give Radbash his time in the sun.
Goodness me.
Because he's the unofficial controller champion of champions.
He is, I suppose he is, yeah. He gets a bit more screen time, doesn't he?
Is he the Randy Orton? Is that what we're saying? He does the RBG on people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Retrovision's picking up...
Just got RGB'd through whatever it is that Retrovision's just showing us, the micro.
I don't know what they are.
A keyboard overlay, some sort of crazy ass stuff, some crazy ass. The Atari 400 and 800. Retrovision's keeping it real. He you know, I collect some tat, but phew.
Javis Sub 120. Adhesivo Original Sega D94 de los que colocaban en las tiendas por el
The
interior
original
del
sticker
cristal.
of 1994 from Sega that was placed in stores through the interior glass. A real piece of luck that remains intact to this day.
So you got both versions there. Google Translate, hopefully doing the good job there. Retro Gamer Thomas.
That
Wow.
collection.
That looks like the foundations for a extension.
Tom,
The strength in that collection.
watch my eyes. Lock down the night scope. Magnification. Top right shelf. Top right of the topmost shelf. That's Murdoch from the 80s.
Oh, mate, it is. Great spot. And if you look carefully, there's the Mr. T to the left and the Mr. T behind him. So I had both sets of those figures, so they came with a different vehicle.
Yeah.
So the smaller ones were more like a G.I. Joe
They were
80.
crap. They're the ones I had.
I quite like them. I think the van was better with
I
those.
never had the van with those.
And the others had squidgy heads, because I always remember my Murdoch was like that.
That's
Visual
working
podcast.
well. Yeah.
Working well on an audio podcast. I felt the attire was closer to the TV show with the bigger ones.
Serious stack of PS2 games, Retro Thomas, and I know that you've shaved some out of that bundle as well.
Next up, though, we've got Ash Games Room.
He treats that collection like a vintage wine cellar. Every now and then he pulls one down.
That's a nibble. Today's pickups for Ash Games Room. Got himself a Bioshock Prima guide, Fallout guide, Final Fantasy on the PSP.
PSP, Final Fantasy stuff. That was beautiful. That artwork's 24. I love a UMD. Quickest way to get in Stingray's boot, slap a UMD pile in there.
And we're back to Ozcat, who was on last week with the Luigi's Mansion Trick or Treat post.
Is that the full turn
of the wheel?
We're in, we're out.
Shake it all about.
We do the Unofficial Controller podcast and we turn around. And Tom, it's time for a peek in what we affectionately call... Hang on, stop. We're a good podcast because we've got a script. And I'm not leaving any part of my performance. Or Tom's. Tom's flatlined.
I'm here.
That's all the dips in the boot for our listeners. Don't forget to hashtag Stingrays Boot or email us for your pickups to be read out.
Very good. Shall we just do a quick beg? Before
It's a bit late. It's all out.
It is, yeah.
You haven't
it's
felt
very
the need to
sync.
beg.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Where do you want to send them? How do you want to
Well, I'm
motivate?
going to send them this week. It's nice to see we have had a few new
Let's cool
listeners,
down. It's been a while.
comment.
Hang on. It's been a while. According to the stats, over 94% of our listeners are still listening. So the beg could be of some use to us. Let's double down and I was going to say double down and demotivate them, but I think that's not what we want to do. We want to double down and remotivate the Unglorious Bar Stewards. It's time to group together, men. Over the next week, share this everywhere. Like the living daylights out of it. Listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Amazon Alexa. You know, leave it playing in the background while you do something else. Let us serenade you through the weekend. We want to assault the charts. We want the Unglorious Bar Stewards right at the bottom of the cliff edge, firing up those bazookas with the grappling hook, Tom, dragging us, literally, with their own social media platforms, drag us up onto the highest level that they can drag us onto, the charts, Tom. Push us up. That's the downloads, that's the likes, it's the new listens, it's the subscribes, it's the reviews, it's the whole same gig. But we know we don't want you to get fatigue. But we need this, we need a big push this week.
We do, yeah. It goes without saying that we couldn't do the show without a lot of you who take the time and effort to comment and really help promote the show. We feel like the bigger the show gets, the more stuff we'll be able to do with it. So we're going to be able to go to companies and say, can we have an early review copy so we can do like a Death Stranding review a week before it's out like everyone else, or the bigger boys.
The bigger boys.
Yeah, I think we could do a lot with stuff
like that. Are they
like
the bigger
that.
boys or are they the baddies, Dad?
They're the baddies, aren't they, really?
Anyone who's not the podcast is a baddie?
Anyone who isn't us on the Unofficial Controller podcast and our community are the baddies.
Wow.
That's how it is. That's how we roll.
Wow.
But enough begging.
Well, Tom, last week he was down there with the... was it last week? What did we do last week?
He was down with a character who we've probably written off out of the village because he didn't really work.
Oh, right. Okay.
But we're keeping...
Well, this week, because he's got an absolute ton of copies, genuine or not, I'm not sure, of Death Stranding, Tom. He's actually bolted up with an anorak. He's put Wayne Ray, because he's so vertically challenged, in a jar, filled it with, I'm hoping Tizer, because if not, I think Ray Senior may have a wee infection. And he's trudging. How are we going to do this? We're going to do a sound effect for his car?
He's not. He's on foot. He's what he wants to get the real Death Stranding feel. So he's delivering the goods this week on foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to make James's life at the end of the show a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Or shall we send him off to find some stone stomping noise? To be fair,
Scurry off, boy.
You hired Neil Buchanan, so we've got no budget for a sound
effect.
Okay,
no sound effect this week for Stingray.
We didn't actually get him on the show, but just to use his name on the show cost Tom a king's ransom.
We better say it's time. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy battle copy for I reckon it's the way it's worded,
Not
mate.
so easy, is it, Private Tom? Huh? Get back. Let
the
Master Chief have a go.
Please slip up. Please slip up. Oh.
When you've buckled in and down for as many of these have, boy, you better know what's going on. It's like a halo drop into enemy territory. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battlefriend all this week? These are the new release highlights for the week November 4th to November 10th, 2019. Listeners, these are out digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast is in your feed, but could be region dependent. Tom, single-handedly, you went to take the hill. You got your leg blown off. I swept
I'm waiting to be
all
picked
those
up.
times as well where I've mounted the charge up the hill and I get pinged in the shoulder and you're like, man, look at him, what an absolute plonker.
Treading on you as a scramble to the top.
And then after 31 episodes, you're like, no, stand back. I'll take this one. And I had to come in, drag you by the scruff of the neck up the hill,
Man
firing
down.
one-handed pistol, Captain Price style, and we took the hill. We're atop it.
We've got
Tom.
it. First up, Black Sad Under the Skin, PC, PS4, Xbox and Switch, out on November 5th. Black Sad Under the Skin, a dark corruption scandal in the heart of New York City's underworld for charismatic detective John Blacksad. That sounds like a name we'd make up on one of our Mickey Mouse podcasts we do for a sound check.
What would he...
John Blacksad. Ooh.
What does he do?
Maybe a motivational podcast speaker.
His ancestors made a load of money in the slave trade but then felt guilty.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. Shame on them.
What's next?
Next up, we've got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020.
Ooh.
Switch US November 5th and Switch EU November 8th.
Tell you what, if you're a fan of sports games with some Japanese mascots, Tom, you better get yourself on a red-eye flight over to America so you can snab that 3-day exclusive.
Yeah.
Good job it's on the Switch. You can play it on the way home.
Excellent. Don't get any better.
Caught hunched over in a plane seat, shaking your waggle controller backwards and forwards. I think that's going to get you arrested.
I've been looking at this and it's getting sort of 7s out of 10s and quite good. I think it's going to be a good family party game.
That technically, in your eyes, puts it as good a game as...
Days Gone.
Days Gone, yeah.
Join Mario and Sonic and friends for their greatest adventure yet in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2020. Train for Tokyo 2020 solo or compete against friends in brand new events, skateboarding, karate, surfing and sports climbing, as well as a large selection of favourite sports and classic 2D games. Well, EA cancelled Skate, the trademark. Nintendo rock up with... Well, Nintendo and Sega rock up with Fat Wario skateboarding in a half pipe. And I actually watched some of it. It looks pretty good. So... If you're looking for a family fun game at Christmas, I don't think you'll go far wrong with that. So you can go with traditional controls or motion. So I think that's good for...
Saves you embarrassment on the plane.
It does, yeah.
Imagine if you were sort of doing the 100-metre dash or the hurdles and you had to sort of leap the controller in the air and you smashed your fellow passenger on the plane clean in the face. Embarrassing.
Depends what class you fly in, doesn't it?
Oh, of course, I forgot. Coming up next, rolling, keep them doggies rolling, Rawhide. Rawhide Simulator 2 comes to the PC November 5th. Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC brings with it a range of graphical and technical enhancements to bring new life and detail to the story of Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang on the run from the law across America in the final days of the 19th century. Next up, what are you going to tell me? You've bought a PC.
I would buy a PC, I think, to play
Go
that.
to town. Constructor Simulator 2, US, console edition for the Switch, November 6th. Once you have started your own company, you can start exploring new regions in Westside Plains bit by bit and accept ever larger and more lucrative construction jobs in the open world of Constructor Simulator 2, US, console edition.
A game for Nick T, that one, if he's listening. He likes a simulator.
Do you think he lives in this world where he wishes he can combine all his simulators into one
So he's
big
just
simulator?
a tycoon of
A
industry.
mega simulator, yeah.
Yeah. So he brings his truck simulator, brings the load into the yard, in the building yard, and then he constructs.
We're on the same page, brother.
If the lorry breaks down, he goes to mechanic simulator to rebuild the end. He is a simulation.
The food that they're eating is actually because he's grown it in Farming Simulator, used the truck in Trucking Simulator to move it to Factory Simulator to make the food that he eats.
The wood he cooks on, because he cooks on an open fire, was from Forestry Simulator.
Stripped to the waist. That's how he cooks, Nick T. And he's got like animal feces and blood smeared across his chest in like tribal images.
Should we put him a timestamp in? Just a special timestamp for him because he won't listen to the rest of the show.
I had to be when John said a smeared feces on myself.
That's how we get him on board for the rest of the show. We say his name a few times and he gets hyped.
Do you think if we timestamped the entire population of the UK, we would be the #1 good gaming podcast?
What, each individual listener?
No, each individual person in the UK got a timestamp in the show.
Yeah, go
That
for
could
it.
work.
Ritual.
Get me the phone book.
Okay. You get cracking because that's a night shift. Ritual Crown of Horns, PC, November 7th. Ritual Crown of Horns is a slaughterhouse, a violent, fast-paced, weird western with an attitude, a unique blend of classic horde modes, base defense games, and arcade top-down run and gun.
Ooh. Death Stranding, PS4.
This is our joint mummy, isn't it, this week?
Yes. Mummy. Death Stranding, PS4, November 8th. Tomorrow is in your hands. After the collapse of civilization, Sam Bridges must journey across a ravaged landscape, crawling with otherworldly threats to save mankind from the brink of extinction. From legendary game creator Hideo Kojima comes an all-new, genre-defying experience to the PlayStation 4 system, starring Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, Lea Seydoux, and Lindsay Wagner.
Yeah, I hope we're not disappointed by this, but it's looking pretty good.
Ray's doubled down. He thinks the village is going to go mad for this.
Really?
Yeah, that's why he's got all dressed up. It's
I
why
know
he's
a man who
walking around.
won't.
Who?
Adam the artist. He is definitely not on the fence about Death Stranding and Hideo Kojima. I agreed with some of his comments, I think, but I hope there's more to this game than we've seen.
Yeah, still ponied up. Still going to be down there. Should have been midnight yesterday, but it's going to be midnight tonight. Good effort.
Do you think Asda will have it? Do you think it'll be sold out? Oh, it'll be gutted.
No. It's a Marmite game. However many Asda orders
Actually,
in,
you're right.
There's
It's not...
still going to be half as many there. Think about it.
Yeah.
Apply the logic.
Next up, House of Golf on the Switch, November 8th. An arcade sports game with full 3D graphics, physics, and easy to pick up play game mechanics for all the family to enjoy. Next up. Do you want to take the next one?
You haven't read out all of House of Golf.
Oh.
Look,
House
the
of
Switch
Golf.
is busy. It's a busy week for the Switch.
It's always busy for the Switch. It is getting home to a lot of shovelware.
How dare you?
House of the Golf is a golfing dojo you always dreamed of. Go mental. With 135 fiendish levels of golfing madness, reduce your golf buddies to a cry and mess with the ultimate 4-player party mode. Test your mettle as the difficulty and sanity ramps, but ultimately stand tall as House of Golf Ninja Master and pile exclusive in-game loot in your pockets.
Nintendo Legal have been on.
Yeah?
You're not going to get any more pin badges if you don't book your ideas or reference.
No
Nintendo.
more Amiibo.
No more Amiibo. Nothing. No more Nintendo points.
Okay.
Are they still a thing?
Yeah, if you buy a new Switch game, you can go to the rewards program and you get points for it, which now translate to actual money on the eShop, which is great because. So
what were they worth?
One
before?
bit of news from this week was Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury is now available on Smash Brothers.
Wow.
As a DLC character, so I think I might pick him up with the points I've accumulated, which is nice. It's just nice you like getting something that would normally cost a $5 for free.
Very much.
Yeah. What we got next?
Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy on the Switch, November 8th. Solving mysteries runs in the family, with Professor Layton's whereabouts unknown. It's time for his daughter Catriel to take centre stage in Layton's Mystery Journey. Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy Deluxe Edition for Nintendo Switch. Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy Deluxe Edition brings the famous mystery series to your TV screen, making it the perfect opportunity for would-be sleuths to share the joy of puzzle solving with friends and family. Solve puzzles at home or on the go, playing with either button or motion controls to help Catriel. I've stumbled here, haven't I?
Don't worry about it. We'll
Do you know, I had all the guts going up the hill, and now we've got to defend it from the onslaughts of these games, and I've just took a couple of bullets to the chest, and I'm wheezing out.
Allow me to step in.
You look at me, and I hold the grenade, pull out the pin, and I'm like, just go for it, Tom.
Next up,
get to the end of the show.
Need for Speed Heat, PC, PS4 and Xbox, November 8th. Need for Speed Heat is an adrenaline-fueled, vibrant racing game where the lines of the law fade as the sun starts to set. Hustle by day, risk it all by night.
Stingray's life story.
It is. I heard that was a biography game of his life.
Need for Speed Heat is the adrenaline-fueled video delivery game where the lines of the law fade as the sun starts to set. Hustle by night, risk it all. Hustle by day. Adam the artist, open the notepad. That's damn right. That's saying on a t-shirt next to the Ray from the Ray family while he's leaning out the window of a car. Maybe make it look like an advert for an 80s cop show. And that's the tagline. You'd have to rewind, write that down. Should we reread it for him one more time? Need for Speed Heat. We'd have to come up with a different name though, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Stingray Heat is an adrenaline-fueled video delivery racing game where the lines of the law fade as the sun starts to set. Hustle by day, risk it all at night.
Yeah. I think it could
maybe
take
DLC level with Wayne Ray at some point.
Yeah. I was going to say it's the new genre, isn't it, for this delivery mechanic.
Yeah.
Done by Hideo Kojima is now sort of bundled in with Need for Speed.
This is actually the game that Stingray's delivering round.
Telling you, next year EA will release a delivery sim.
They will.
Last up, we've got new Super Lucky Tales on the Switch, November 8th. Leap into a playful platforming adventure for all ages with new Super Lucky Tale. Run, jump, climb incredible heights, burrow deep underground, overcoming enemies, and explore amazing worlds on an epic quest to rescue the Book of Ages from the mysterious Jinx and his
Red wine and art takes its toll, Tom. Red wine and art takes its toll on us, doesn't it? Tom, we've leapt to the end of the show. One last question remains on everybody's lips.
Yeah.
What you hoping to play?
Hopefully Death Stranding and some Call of Duty, I think, this week.
What if you get to Asda and there's no Death Stranding?
We riot.
What would you buy instead? Let's say you had to buy another game.
Yeah, I'd be like,
That time when you're like a little sport brat, you go Blockbuster, then got what you want, so you're going to get, you get something anyway.
Yeah, anything.
Anything.
Just need like a hungry animal.
What would be your other thing to take?
Oh, mate, I don't know. I want to say Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, but I don't.
There's a new Doctor Who game out.
Is there?
A VR experience that's being raved about.
That'd be great with my non-VR headset.
It would be. It'd be good for you. Be a good title for you to check out. Probably try and download it tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't use the main TV that you got, but maybe try and tape one of the smaller portables to your face. And then because it hasn't got
tube
motion,
TV portable on my head like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe rest it on
Next level.
like an old office chair just to take the strain.
Yeah.
How's that feel?
Comfortable. bearable. Yeah, that's going to be it for me this week, I think.
Okay.
What about you? What are you?
Well, I'm all fired up for
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding, but I'm a little concerned that my time's being eroded away and I'm not going to be able to get to play it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be playing it till at least Sunday, or a little bit of Sunday morning.
You're not going to play it tonight?
No, I just don't think I'll download quick enough.
3 o'clock in the morning. I know I said I wasn't playing it tonight, and I know I've heard all the hype, mate, but it's the best. I'm telling you, it's the best game I've ever played.
I can't see it.
I had to balance this parcel for over 5 minutes. It was sublime. Unless you know, you don't.
I think this is going to be right up your street because you love the tedium and the.
I think I do. Yeah, I do like that sort of like.
You'll
probably
wish the journey with these packages is not in real time.
You're right.
12
that's exactly
hours
what I
later,
was
you
thinking.
arrive at the destination for the first package delivered.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not
yeah.
saying that you're like, oh, but if you could save it, I'm not saying you have to do a 12-hour delivery in one go, but if you could save it and it was that epic and you're like, oh, made it unbelievable.
Yeah.
12 hours of balancing those. If you fall over once, is that the package is damaged?
I don't believe so. I think it's
They
probably
just
like Crazy Taxi. You get
Decrease in
crazy
percentage.
package. You get sort of
I'll
better
tell you what
rewards
was like
for-
that. 18-wheel Pro Trucker on Sega Dreamcast was a bit
There's
like
a
that.
game for Nick Tyres.
It's not realistic enough for him, is it?
Well, no.
Oh, I drove across half of America in 20 seconds. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, very good.
What else? Is that it?
Yeah, I think it's
And I'll
one
play
of
that
those.
futuristic Harvest Moon game.
It's coming to that time of year as well where there's going to be a few big titles before Christmas, so the backlog will get even bigger.
The pile of shame.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an episode. What's in our piles of shame? You've got the order for sure.
I've got The Order, I've got Fire Emblem, I've got Link's Awakening,
Astral Chain.
Astral Chain. I feel bad for Astral Chain because I have no, serious note, it's a really good title. I've finished the main story. There's just the epilogue, and I don't know whether, because I don't want to spoil it for myself, but I don't know whether there's like a little hidden extra cutscene at the end. I'm not sure.
Get it done.
I know.
Get it done. Is that it?
That's it.
Tom, I'll utter the voodoo. Which
You better do
causes
it,
the
because I won't
recording
steal this off
cease.
after the car crash of me trying to commandeer another one of your bits of the show.
I see why you've kept quiet for 31 episodes now.
Yeah.
And that's all we've got time for this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. And remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. Tom, sayonara.
Au revoir.